Nayanam namaskritya naranchaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavtham, Canto 2, Chapter 6, verse number 2 onwards. Sarvasunam cha vayoscha tannase paramayane ashvinoroshadhinam cha grihano moda pramodayoho. Sarvasunam cha vayoscha tannase paramayane ashvinoroshadhinam cha grano moda pramodayoho. Sarvasunam cha vayoscha tannase paramayane ashvinoroshadhinam cha grano moda pramodayoho. Sarvasunam cha vayoscha word to word meaning. Sarva, all. Asunam, different kinds of life air. Cha, and. Vayoho, of the air. Cha, also. Tat, his. Nase, in the nose. Parama ayane, in the transcendental generating center. Ashvinoho, of the Ashwini Kumara demigods. Oshadhinam, of all medicinal herbs. Cha, also. Ghranaha, his smelling power. Moda, pleasure. Pramodayoho, specific sport. Translation, and there's no purport. We'll continue reading. Translation. His two nostrils are the generating center of our breathing and of all and of all other airs. His smelling powers generate the Ashwini Kumara demigods and all kinds of medicinal herbs, and his breathing energies produce different kinds of fragrance. So we'll continue. So basically this verse is talking about Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We'll cover a few more verses. The monitors can be on. So we have moved on to another chapter called the Purusha Sukta Confirmed. In the previous chapter, we saw the chapter entitled The Cause of All Causes, how everything that exists in the material world, the cause is the Supreme Lord Krishna. He created the universe by breathing process from his skin pores, and then in each universe he created that by residing in the causal ocean as Mahavishnu, and then he entered into each universe to maintain the universe, and that was Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And then he enters into each and every living entity, into ourselves as Paramatma, as Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, as a super soul. And so last chapter Brahma is explaining all these things to Narada, his son, that the cause of all causes is Krishna. So in the last chapter we saw the creation of the entire universe and the creation of the planetary system and the creation of the 24 elements, Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayuhu, Kham, Mano, Buddhirevacha, Ahankara, all these different things we saw. And in this chapter, he has begun with the creation of the different senses that we have in our body. And all the ability that we have is coming from God. This recognition is very important. We should not feel proud that I have got so much ability, I can smell nicely, I can see nicely, I can talk nicely. Everything is because of the Lord. We must remember this 24 hours. Krishna says, I am the ability in the man. I am the intelligence in the man. I am the strength of the strong. If someone is very strong, he should not feel, oh, I am so strong, I won a gold medal. That strength that came in him, Krishna is saying in the Gita, I am that strength. I am his intelligence. Buddhir buddhi matam asmi. I think I'm very intelligent. I won a Nobel Prize or I won first prize. Buddhir buddhi matam asmi. The buddhi of the buddhi matam is me. So if you always live in this consciousness and living in this consciousness that everything that we have has been given to us by the Lord, and so then what will be the next consciousness? Being very humble, being very respectful towards the Lord, being thankful, being grateful to the Lord. This is very important. Human beings should not become very puffed up with false pride. Always remaining humble. The kingdom of God belongs to the humble and meek. Suppose somebody is maintaining you. You'll always be very humble and meek towards that maintainer. No? So God is maintaining us. Eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. That one God is maintaining the bahunam. Eko bahunam. Eko bahunam. But when we come to the material world, we very quickly forget. We think, I am everything, I have this ability, I have this intelligence, I have this strength. No. It is all coming from God. And that is what is being explained in these few verses. So today's verse, it says, God's two nostrils are the generating senses of our breathing and all other airs. So we don't even think, I am breathing. I have to breathe every moment. I cannot live without breathing. So how am I breathing? It's because of my two nostrils. It is said here in this verse today, God's two nostrils are the generating center of our breathing. Just like you see when an embryo, a simple example, when an embryo in the mother's womb, the baby is being developed, right? In the womb also, baby is doing everything. It's kicking, moving, eating, and it's living. It's a full live baby inside the stomach. How do you think he's doing it? He's doing it because the baby is connected to the mother by the umbilical cord. Mother is eating, so the food is going through the umbilical cord, and the umbilical cord is feeding the baby, is taking care of the baby, is nourishing the baby. If the that's why when the baby comes out, umbilical cord has to be cut. Now he depends on God. Of course, that is also dependence on God only. But just like a baby is fully dependent on the mother while inside the womb, in the same way, while inside this material world, we are fully dependent on the Lord's mercy. That is, our umbilical cord is God. So, our breathing, as it is in this verse, is because of God's breathing. His smelling powers generate the Ashwini, Kumara, demigods and all kinds of medicinal herbs. So we've got so many medicinal herbs. It has come by God's breathing power. And His breathing energies produce different kinds of fragrance. Every day morning, darshanarthi, you go, the pujaris will give you nice prasadam flowers. And such fragrant flowers. I take a flower, rose flower, jasmine flower, or mallige flowers. See, what is it? His breathing is the cause of fragrance. Fragrance means what? You breathe, na? You inhale. That's when you feel the fragrance. It is God's breathing. So like this, every moment in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives many different ways by which you can remember Him. These are the ways to remember the Lord. When you smell a flower, you should think, oh, such a beautiful fragrance God has given us. That's why we first offer flowers not for self-enjoyment, but for God's enjoyment. Every flower we call in temples, we say, don't pluck Krishna's flower. You have seen this? Outside people will say, don't pluck flowers. But we say in our temple, don't pluck Krishna's flowers. If you pluck it, it has to be given to Krishna first. Then only we can enjoy. Why to Krishna first? Because Krishna only has given it. Krishna has produced it. Krishna has manufactured it. We can't manufacture this sweet-smelling flowers every day in our factory. So this is verse number 2. Verse number 3. Rupanam tejasam chakshur diva suryasya chakshini karnau disham cha tirthanam shrotam akasha shabdayoho. His eyes are the generating centers of all kinds of forms. See? And they glitter and illuminate. His eyeballs are like the sun and the heavenly planets. His ears hear from all sides and are the receptacles for all the Vedas. And his sense of hearing is the generating center of the sky and of all kinds of sound. Purport. The word Tirthanam is sometimes interpreted to mean the places of pilgrimage, but Srila Jiva Goswami says that it means the reception of the Vedic transcendental knowledge. The propounders of the Vedic knowledge are also known as Tirthas. So this verse is, his eyes are the generating centers of all kinds of form. So the forms, we see beautiful forms, how it has come. Just by God's eyes all these forms have come. He just sees and the forms are there. His eyeballs, and they glitter and illuminate. His eyeballs are like the sun and the heavenly planets. We know Krishna's eyes are like the sun. And his ears hear from all sides and are receptacles for all the Vedas. So ear is the receptacle of all Vedas, and his sense of hearing is the generating center of the sky and all kinds of sounds. Shabda Yoho. Shabda Yoho means all kinds of sounds. So Prabhupada writes a purport that Tirthanam is sometimes means places of pilgrimage, but Tirthanam can also mean sound. The propounders of Vedic knowledge are also known as Tirthas. So sound is being stressed here. So we have this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, sound vibration, and if we chant that mantra, we get all knowledge, and the Nama is the essence of all scriptures. Here it is said the propounders of Vedic knowledge are also known as Tirthas, but in the Chaitanya Charitamrita there is a verse which talks about the sound and how the sound is the essence of all scriptures. In the morning Mangalarti quote, that one we will see. Verse number 4. Tadgatram vastu sharanam shaubhagasya cha bhajanam tvagasya sparsha vayoscha sarva medhasya chaivahi. His bodily surface is the breeding ground for the active principles of everything and for all kinds of auspicious opportunities. His skin, like the moving air, is the generating center for all kinds of sense of touch and is the place for performing all kinds of sacrifice. So bodily surface is the active principle for all auspicious opportunities. Skin is a generating center for sense of touch and is a place for performing all kinds of sacrifice. Purport. The air is the moving agent of all the planets, and as such, the generating centers for promotion to the deserving planets. The sacrifices are his bodily surface and are naturally the origin of all auspicious opportunities. So we are seeing how this, it's such a wonderful spiritual science. Scientists, if you tell all these things, it will be inconceivable to them. That air is the generating center for promotion to deserving planets. This can be because you go via the ethereal space. And the sacrifices are his bodily surfaces and are naturally the origin of all auspicious opportunities. So this is how the creation has come about, and Krishna is the origin of everything. Everything that is happening in the material world, the cause is Krishna. Every small thing. That's why it is said, not a blade of grass can move without the sanction of the Lord. Verse number 5. Romani udbhijya jatinam yerva yagnastu sambhritaha keshashmashru nakhanyasya shila lohabhra vidyutam. The hairs on his body are the cause of all vegetation, particularly of those trees which are required as ingredients for sacrifice. The hairs on his head and face are reservoirs for the clouds, and his nails are the breeding ground of electricity, stones, and iron ores. Very interesting verse. Purport. The polished nails of the Lord generate electricity, and the clouds rest on the hairs of his head. One can therefore collect all sorts of necessities of life from the person of the Lord. And therefore the Vedas affirm that everything that is produced is caused by the Lord. The Lord is the supreme cause of all causes. So, how is electricity coming? In the material world, today we get the answer. It is not to the powerhouse. Because powerhouse is there, that's a immediate cause. The ultimate cause is nails of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, his nails are the breeding ground of, and very clear, Vidyut is electricity. It's a very clear verse. And the hairs on the body are the cause of all vegetation. There is such beautiful vegetation. We subsist. Krishna has given us the food grains and leaves and plants. It is because of the hairs of his body. And hairs on his head are the reservoirs for the clouds. Clouds reside there. And nails are not just electricity, but stones and iron ores. Loha, iron ore. Purport. The polished, we read the purport. So that's why Brahma, because see this who's saying this? Brahma is telling this to Narada. That's his realization. That's why he says, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all causes. So this verse also says this. Verse number 6. Bahavo lokapalanam prayasha shema karmanam. Short verse, this is. Translation. The Lord's arms are the productive fields for the great demigods and other leaders of the living entities who protect the general mass. The Lord's arms, so please repeat the translation. The Lord's arms are the productive fields for the great demigods and other leaders of the living entities who protect the general mass. Purport. This important verse of Srimad Bhagavtham is corroborated and nicely explained in the Bhagavad Gita 10:41-42 as follows. Yad yad vibhuti matsattvam Srimad urjitameva va tattadeva vagachatvam mama tejomsha sambhavam athava bahunaitena kim gyatena tavarjuna vishtabhyaham idam kritsnam ekam shena sthito jagat. There are many powerful kings, leaders, learned scholars, scientists, artists, engineers, inventors, excavators, archaeologists, industrialists, politicians, economists, business magnates, and many more powerful deities or demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Surya, Varuna, and Marut, who are all protecting the interest of the universal affairs of maintenance in different positions, and all of them are different powerful parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord Shri Krishna is the father of all living entities who are placed in different high and low positions according to their desires or aspirations. Some of them, as particularly mentioned above, are specifically endowed with powers by the will of the Lord. A sane person must know for certain that a living being, however powerful he may be, is neither absolute nor independent. All living beings must accept the origin of their specific power as mentioned in this verse. And if they act accordingly, then simply by discharging their respective occupational duties, they can achieve the highest perfection of life, namely eternal life, complete knowledge, and inexhaustible blessings. As long as the powerful men of the world do not accept the origin of their respective powers, namely the personality of Godhead, the actions of Maya, illusion, will continue to act. Their actions of Maya are such that a powerful person, misled by the illusory material energy, wrongly accepts himself as all in all and does not develop God consciousness. As such, the false sense of egoism, namely myself and mine, has become overly prominent in the world. And there is a hard struggle for existence in human society. The intelligent class of men, therefore, must admit the Lord as the ultimate source of all energies and thus pay tribute to the Lord for his good blessings. Simply by accepting the Lord as the supreme proprietor of everything, since he is actually so, one can achieve the highest perfection of life. Whatever a person may be in the estimation of the social order of things, if a person tries to reciprocate a feeling of love towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is satisfied with the blessings of the Lord, he will at once feel the highest peace of mind for which he is hankering life after life. Peace of mind, or in other words, the healthy state of mind, can be achieved only when the mind is situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The part and parcels of the Lord are endowed with specific powers for rendering service unto the Lord, just as the big business magnates' sons are empowered with specific powers of administration. The obedient son of the Father never goes against the will of the Father, and therefore passes life very peacefully in concurrence with the head of the family, the Father. Similarly, the Lord, being the Father of all living beings, should fully and Similarly, the Lord being the Father, all living beings should fully and satisfactorily discharge the duties and the will of the Father as faithful sons. This very mentality will at once bring peace and prosperity to human society. So it's a beautiful purport that Prabhupada is writing, a very nice example he gives. Just like a big businessman, his sons are automatically empowered. They don't have to go receive an education. They don't have to do any formality to take charge of a 1,000 crore business. Just because they are the sons of the rich man, they automatically get control of the business and administration. And they are in charge of all the wealth and opulence of the businessman. But as Prabhupada says, they must remain obedient sons of the businessman. When they remain obedient and they follow the direction of the rich businessman, his father, their father, then everything will go on smoothly. And there are some very nice words used here. He says, you can achieve the highest peace of mind by following the Supreme Lord. Just like the children can be very peaceful when they are following the Father. And one can achieve the highest perfection of life if we follow obediently God's order. So God is also our Father. Pitaham asya jagato mata dhata pitamaha. Krishna is saying, I am the father, I am the mother, I am the grandfather, I am the support, I am everything of everyone in this material world. So nice and such a loving father. Suhridam, he's a loving friend, father, everything. And here another place Prabhupada says, today in the material world, one thing people have realized, whenever some big rich marriage or some function is there, they will say, no gift please. Have you seen? Many cards we receive, no gifts please. Gift only in blessings. So people actually realize this money is not everything. If the favor of an elderly person, his blessings come upon my son for whatever, his namakarna, his marriage or whatever, that is what people are asking. How can, sir, all of you please come and attend the wedding or attend this so that you can bless my son. We just want your blessings, sir, nothing else. Devotees call us also. Now, why do they call us? People call us because they want to receive the blessings from devotees of Lord Krishna. So blessing is everything. Now you can go bless once and come back. But what if God is directly blessing you and His blessing is unending? So today's purport, Prabhupada writes, you will be the recipient of inexhaustible blessings. This is the line. And if they act, that means the conditioned souls, if they act accordingly to God's order, then simply by discharging their respective occupational duties, they can achieve the highest perfection of life, namely eternal life, complete knowledge, and inexhaustible blessings. Just look at the gift that you will get, that everyone will get if they follow God's laws. Highest perfection of life, complete knowledge, and inexhaustible blessings. So all that we need to do is recognize that the Lord is the Master, and without any reservation we must surrender to Lord. Our surrender is not complete because we are not surrendering completely. That's why Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja. Two words are very important, Sarva and ekam. You have to give up everything. Sarva dharman. You're thinking this will protect you, that will protect you, this is good for me, that is good for me, this will help me, let me make this plan, let me make that arrangement. Sarva dharman parityajya, and only surrender to me. So, as devotees, Prabhupada used these words many times. Surrender without any reservation. It's because of the reservation we hold back, so Krishna also holds back. I have my own plans. No, you have to go by Lord's plan. And the best example of this is Bali Maharaj. Just see, his surrender was a perfect surrender. Surrendered without any reservation. He knew, Shukracharya informed him that this is Vishnu, he will take away everything and then you'll have nothing for yourself. But still he surrendered without any reservation. I have to surrender myself to Lord. You only taught me that the Supreme Lord is everything. So how can I surrender? So how can I keep anything for myself? If everything is going away and I'm giving it to the Lord, oh, that is the best. See, many times, we feel, how can I give up everything? Then who will maintain me? Right? Everybody thinks like that. You look at what Bali Maharaj, he not only gave up, he gave up everything, including himself, his head. And when he surrendered like that, Then God gave him a kingdom which had no birth, no death, no old age, no disease, a wonderful, we know the whole story of the surrender of Bali Maharaj. If you have an iota of desire or an iota of holding back, then Krishna will also hold back. That's why in the Bhagavatam, Prabhupada writes, without sincere devotional service, everything is simply a show. It's a very strong statement, but it's a very meaningful statement. Sincere service, without that, if it is little sincere means that it's pure devotional service. Otherwise, everything is simply a show. So, we must come up to that level of how can I surrender fully without any reservation, because He is the cause of all causes. How can I not surrender fully? Today I'm able to speak is because of the Lord. I'm able to see is because of the Lord. I'm able to breathe is because of the Lord. I will be a dead person if the Lord is not there with me. So it is but natural for me that in every moment of my life, in every breath of my life, I remember the Lord and I thank Him for everything that He has given me or done to me. Every moment I must be remembering this. Pride cannot touch me even for a moment. Pride means proud of my capabilities, proud of my doing. How can I be proud? If the servant has come to the house of the master, master gives him, take 1,000 rupees, go buy these groceries. Can the servant use 1 rupee, 1 paisa of the 1,000 rupees to buy something for himself? No. Then he'll be a thief. The servant is fully conscious, 1,000 rupees the master has given, everything that I buy as it is has to go back to the master. I cannot enjoy 1 penny out of it. If I have to enjoy, master has to sanction. First, everything to the master. So similarly, the Lord has given us so many things. That verse is saying, the different maru. He has given us all these things to be used obediently the way He wants. So God has a plan. He says, first offer everything to me. Know that I am the cause. So that consciousness is important. And surrender to Lord always. That there are many stories like this where we see that surrender without any reservation comes out in our scriptures. There's another story that Mrigari and Narada Muni, when they meet and Narada says, he tells him all the sins that you have done. And then Mrigari, because Narada was speaking, he understands. So he says, okay, I want to come out of all these sins. So Narada says, first you have to surrender. So how do you surrender? First of all, break your bow and arrow. So he thinks, the bow and arrow, if I have to break, then how will I maintain myself? Because bow and arrow is the cause for my maintenance. He is a hunter. And if he has to hunt, he needs the bow and arrow. So from that perspective, if you see, the cause of maintenance of Mrigari's cause of sustenance is bow and arrow. Everything. And he's telling to break that. But Narad told him, say, okay sir, you are telling me, I will do it. And then when he did that, then arrangement was made by Narada for his subsistence. So we hold on to our desires, we hold on to our wishes, we hold on to our material thinking. We have to give it up completely. And for this, to give it up completely, we have to very strongly take the shelter of the holy name. Also simultaneously having this consciousness that nothing belongs to me, but chanting will help us to quickly come to that level of perfection. We must remember we have a very short life. Life is not long. Any moment we may leave. We don't know how long we are going to stay. But we have a very, very important duty to perfect our life. And we must not fail in achieving perfection in this life while we are young and energetic. Because in old age, kapha, pitta, vayu, we don't know whether we'll be able to chant. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has sung a nice song. जीवन अनित्य जानो हो सार, ताहे नाना विधा विपद भार. Jivan anitya. Life is very short. Jano ho sar. And such an important instruction. Sar means he's saying this is the essence of knowledge. What? Always remember that life is very short. Because we have got a very important duty to do. But please remember, life is very short. You have a very important duty, but it's very short. So quickly you have to do it. And not just that, important duty to do, and life is very short, and you can do this only in this human form of life. And to top it, tahe nana vidha vipada bhar. And that short life is loaded with all kinds of vipad, calamities, difficulties, challenges, sufferings, miseries, adhyatmik, adi bhautik, adi daivik, all these things. So then, short life, loaded with difficulties. So what do I do then? Then he says, then the next line is, Naam ashray laho jatane tumi. Naam ashray laho jatane tumi. You have to take shelter of the holy name. And very important word, yatane. Yatane means with endeavor, sincerely, seriously, yatane. Not just simply, it doesn't say Naam ashray laho. Naam ashray laho jatane tumi. Thakoho apana kaje. Remain in your duty. You are a pujari, do pujari. You are working outside, work outside. You are doing DT service, you are doing management, you do whatever you do. Thakono apana kaje. So there's no worries. But Naam ashray laho jatane tumi. This is the most important line. Jivana anitya jana hosar tahe nana vidha vipada bhar naam ashray loy jatane tumi thakohu apana kaje. In the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridha vrataha. You have to take this holy name very seriously. Not simply chanting. As Prabhupada writes, this quote we must always remember. It is not just sufficient for you to chant 16 rounds. But you must chant offenseless 16 rounds. So at the end of our chanting every day, we must remind ourselves, did I chant? Of course, we are not chanting offenselessly, but at least you should get an answer if you ask yourself this question. I tried today to chant offenselessly. I struggled to chant offenselessly. That is very important. Naam ashray laho jatane tumi. I'll end with a quote of Prabhupada. Sacrifice is meant to please Lord Vishnu. Yagnae sankirtana prayer yajantihi sumedhasa. In Kali Yuga, those who are intelligent perform the sankirtana yagna. And then he writes, this line is important, this is from Bhagavatham 8th canto. One should follow this process, chanting, Sankirtana Yagna, conscientiously. Conscientiously you must chant. What is the dictionary meaning of the word conscientiously? It means diligently, diligent, very seriously, meticulously, carefully, thoroughly, painstakingly. This is the way we have to chant. So this consciousness is important. This is we may sometimes chant, sometimes not chant nicely, but this effort, this endeavor must go on always. Then we will be able to make our life perfect, be blessed by the Lord, inexhaustible blessings. We will have complete knowledge and our life will become perfect. These are the blessings of the Sankirtana Yagna in this age. So we'll stop here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanand.